Like most kids, I'm sure, I loved playing when I was a young child growing up. I had a very vivid imagination, and there were all sorts of games and toys I loved playing with. I grew up Catholic, so one of the games I used to play with my friends was church. That would mean someone would get dressed up all in white and be the priest and read from the Bible. The other person would sit in a makeshift pew, which was really a chair or the couch. We'd also take a piece of bread and flatten it down as much as we could, and use a glass to make rounded, flattened pieces of bread to use as the Eucharist. I always wanted to be the priest. We'd also play George Michael because we thought he was really handsome. Someone would play his love interest, and someone would play George Michael. This was before we knew he was gay. I always wanted to be George Michael. Whenever I played any make-believe games with my friends, who were all girls, I wanted to be the boy. I would usually ask to be called Jason. I also liked playing with Barbies and G.I. Joes. I would sometimes make elaborate stories about Ken or the G.I. Joes going off to war and coming back injured to be reunited with the love of their lives. I know, very melodramatic, but I used to watch a lot of soap operas. Sometimes I would even use a red marker to draw on some blood. I remember even increasing the drama level a bit and taking a chunk out of one of my Ken doll's arms once to really show the injuries. Growing up in a small town in Nova Scotia, it was always really exciting for me to visit the mall in the nearest town with my mom. And we usually went to the Zellers or the Kmart. Once I remember her telling me I could pick out a toy, which was really exciting because we didn't have much money and it wasn't something I could usually do. I grew up with a single mom who put herself through university so she could take care of me and my sister. So I painstakingly picked out a G.I. Joe with army fatigues. I remember wanting to feel like an adult, so my mom gave me money and I took it to the checkout to pay. While ringing it through, the cashier smiled at me and said, "Oh, isn't that sweet? You must be buying this for your little brother." I'll never forget that moment because it was the first time I realized there were gendered expectations of what you should and shouldn't do. It was the first time I was ever made to feel like I wasn't normal. That feeling would come up again and again, and it still sometimes does. A few years ago, my mom found the G.I. Joe while sorting through things and mailed it to me. I kept it on my desk for a while as a reminder that I can do whatever I want to and be whoever I want to be. It fell and broke, though, at some point, and now I have it tucked away in a drawer in pieces. The middle part is broken off from the torso. The legs are still attached to each other, but broken off from the rest of the body. The head and arms are still together, and one of the arms is lifted up to the forehead in the army salute. If I were to look for meaning in my broken G.I. Joe, I would say that if I look around at my closest queer friends, who were all born in the late 70s in Canada like me, we're all just a little bit broken. We've all struggled and suffered and been called names by strangers, but also by people we love. We've all had to make our own chosen families and have helped to glue each other back together numerous times along the way. I have plans to put this G.I. Joe back together one day. Until then, I'll keep it tucked away safely in a drawer, a reminder that no matter how broken I might feel, I have people around me who glue me back together.